Enter the mysterious world of the Old West as we reveal the real story of Doc Holliday and Big-Nosed Kate. Beyond the myths and the legends, this video delves into the complicated lives of these two fascinating characters, shedding light on lesser-known aspects of their relationship and adventures. Join us on a journey through history to discover the genuine tale behind this iconic duo on the frontier.
Remember to hit the like button because it helps us a lot. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell to not miss the upcoming interesting videos.
The woman known by the moniker Big-Nosed Kate was born as Mary Katharine Horony in Budapest, Hungary, on November 7, 1850. As recounted in Erika Owen's Lawbreaking Ladies, her father, a respected physician, ensured a robust education for his daughters. Mary exhibited proficiency in multiple languages and displayed a penchant for reading. In 1862, her father's appointment as the personal physician to the Mexican Emperor Maximilian I led to the family's relocation to Mexico. Tragedy struck with the passing of Kate's mother during this time. In 1865, following Maximilian's overthrow, the family sought refuge in an unexpected location, Davenport, Iowa. Unfortunately, the family's tribulations continued as Kate's father passed away, leaving her orphaned during her teenage years. Placed in a foster home, Kate eventually departed at the age of 16. She found her way to a convent school, completing her studies, yet discovering that religious life did not resonate with her beliefs. In 1869, she was recorded as working as a prostitute for Madame Blanche Tribole in St. Louis. In 1874, Kate was fined for working as a prostitute in a brothel in Dodge City, Kansas, run by Nellie Bessie Earp, sister-in-law of Virgil Earp. During this period, she adopted the name Kate Elder. The reasons behind Kate's chosen path remain shrouded in mystery. While financial considerations undoubtedly played a role, there is a prevailing sense that she relished the allure and unpredictability of the untamed western frontier. Kate possessed a fiery temper, displayed self-sufficiency, and indulged in heavy drinking. By this time, Kate had earned a nickname, Big-Nosed Kate. Some historical sources suggest it arose from Kate's inclination to involve herself in others' affairs, but as Chris N's Wicked Women points out, she did have a large, determined nose. Regardless, Kate seems to have embraced the moniker with ease. John Henry Doc Holliday had a somewhat similar path through life. He was born on August 14, 1851, in Griffin, Georgia, to parents of moderate means. His father worked as a pharmacist. Young Holliday imbibed refined conduct from his family and received a genteel upbringing. He then enrolled in the College of Dental Surgery of the University of Pennsylvania, earning his degree in 1872. However, due to his battle with tuberculosis, he embarked on a journey westward, drawn by the belief that the dry climate could alleviate his health struggles. His initial destination was Dallas, where fate introduced him to his true calling, a fervor for gambling coupled with a readiness to resolve conflicts through violent means. According to the gambling gunfighters of the Old West, he got into his first gunfight with a saloon keeper, where neither hit the other. Drifting across the Old West landscape, he embraced a life of faro and poker, amassing a reputation as a perennial heavy drinker and an unyielding combatant, who frequently employed a blade or firearm to settle gambling disputes. In 1877, at Fort Griffin, Doc Holliday crossed paths with Big-Nosed Kate. Doc said at one point that he considered Kate his intellectual equal. The couple went with Earp to Dodge City and registered as Mr. and Mrs. J. H. Holliday at Deacon Cox's boarding house. Doc opened a dental practice by day, but spent most of his time gambling and drinking. The two fought regularly and sometimes violently, but made up after fights despite the volatile relationship. According to Kate, the couple later married in Valdosta, Georgia. They traveled to Trinidad, Colorado, and then to Las Vegas, New Mexico, where they lived for about 2 years. Holliday worked as a dentist by day and ran a saloon on Center Street by night. Kate also occasionally worked at a dance hall in Santa Fe, New Mexico. By her own account, Doc and Kate met up again with Wyatt Earp and his brothers on their way to the Arizona Territory. Wyatt Earp recounted one event during which Holliday killed a fellow gambler named Ed Bailey. Earp and his common-law wife, Mattie Blaylock, were in Fort Griffin, Texas during the winter of 1878, looking for gambling opportunities. Earp visited the saloon of his old friend from Cheyenne, John Chansey, and met Holliday at the cattle exchange. The story of Holliday killing Bailey first appeared 9 years after Holliday's death in an 1896 interview with Wyatt Earp that was published in the San Francisco Inquirer. This incident takes place at Fort Griffin and provides insight into the complex connection of Doc Holliday and Big Nose Kate. During a poker game, a dispute arose between Doc and another gambler, Ed Bailey. The cause of contention stemmed from Bailey's breach of poker etiquette. He persistently lifted and scrutinized discarded cards. According to Earp, Holliday reminded Bailey to play poker, which was a polite way to caution him to stop cheating. When Bailey made the same move again, Holliday took the pot without showing his hand, which was right under the rules. Bailey immediately went for his pistol, but Holliday whipped out a knife from his breast pocket and caught Bailey just below the brisket. Bailey died, and Holliday, new to town, was detained in his room at the Planters Hotel. Allies of Bailey rallied to form a vengeful mob, poised to exact their own form of justice. Fearing that the local sheriff might acquiesce to the mob's demands, Kate devised a bold diversionary tactic. She initiated a blaze in a nearby shed, diverting attention and resources. Armed with a gun, she forced her way into the cell and made one remaining guard set Doc free. The two eventually escaped on stolen horses. Later, Doc and Kate parted ways when Kate moved to Globe, Arizona. Unknown to Doc, Big Nose Kate was also en route to a new boomtown of Tombstone, and the two ran into each other in Prescott, Arizona. Doc was winning heavily at the tables and pocketing $40,000 in winnings, and Kate was happy to keep him company. In the early summer of 1880, the two reached Tombstone. Kate used part of the winnings to opening a saloon complete with working girls and whiskey. Concurrently, Doc, as usual, gambled as well as got entangled in a burgeoning feud between the Earp and Cowboy factions. Doc, being a friend of the Earps, was on their side, and his additional presence further destabilized the situation. Meanwhile, Doc and Kate's relationship had grown even more volatile. Many times when Kate visited Holliday, they were known to have frequent arguments, most of which were not serious until Kate got drunk. Often her drunkenness would escalate to abuse, and in early 1881, Doc had finally had enough and threw her out. The Cowboys saw their opportunity. On March 15, 1881, several men attempted to rob the Wells Fargo Benson to Tombstone stage. In the process, they killed the driver and a passenger. Rumors fluttered about that Doc had taken part in the crime. Sheriff Behan and his deputy found Kate in a drunken stupor ranting about Doc. They plied Kate with alcohol and suggested to her a way to get even with Holliday. She signed an affidavit implicating Holliday in the murders and attempted robbery. Judge Wells Spicer issued an arrest warrant for Holliday. The Earps found witnesses who could attest to Holliday's whereabouts elsewhere at the time of the murders. Kate said that Behan and Joyce had influenced her to sign a document she didn't understand. With the cowboy plot revealed, Judge Spicer freed Holliday. The district lawmen threw out the charges, labeling them ridiculous. He immediately gave up any hope of reconciliation. Kate left town after being given a wad of cash by Doc. Kate returned to Globe for a time, but she returned to Tombstone in October of that year. Thus, she claimed that she was present during the gunfight at the OK Corral at 3 p.m. on October 26, 1881, which resulted in 3 dead. Kate reminisced in the letter about her stay with Holliday at C.S. Fly's boarding house, which bordered the alley where the gunfight at the OK Corral took place. Kate accurately described minor details of the shootout, writing that on the day of the gunfight, a man entered Fly's boarding house with a bandaged head and a rifle. He was looking for Holliday, who was still in bed after a night of gambling. Kate recalled that the man, who was turned away by Mrs. Fly, was later identified as Ike Clanton, whom City Marshal Virgil Earp had pistol-whipped earlier that day when he found Clanton carrying a rifle and a pistol in violation of city ordinances. Clanton's head was bandaged afterward. Virgil Earp had disarmed him earlier that day and told Ike he would leave Ike's confiscated rifle and revolver at the Grand Hotel, which was a favored one by the cowboys when they were in town. Ike testified afterward that he had tried to buy a new revolver at Spangberger's Gun and Hardware store on 4th Street, but the owner saw Ike's bandaged head and refused to sell him one. Clanton was unarmed at the time of the shootout later that afternoon. Ike testified that he picked up weapons from William Sewell, the jailer, a couple of days later. Author Glenn Boyer disputes that Kate saw the gunfight through the window of the boarding house. Also, according to him, Kate stated that after Doc Holliday returned to his room, he sat at the edge of his bed and wept from the shock of what had happened during the close-range gunfight. That was awful. Boyer's work, however, has been rejected by serious scholars. From 1882 until the time of his death in 1887, Doc Holliday was in Colorado. During that time, Kate was apparently also in the state, at least part of the time, as her brother owned property in Glenwood Springs. According to some reports, Doc may have actually spent time with Kate and her family, as her brother's home was very near to Sulphur Springs, and Kate visited to try to help his tuberculosis. Kate stayed in Colorado until after Holliday's death. In 1888, Kate married a blacksmith named George M. Cummings. The two lived in Cochise, Arizona. No details are known of the marriage except that Cummings died by suicide in 1915. She then hitched up with a man named John Howard, with whom she lived until his death in 1930. In 1931, she entered the Pioneers' Home, a care facility for the elderly. She died in 1940 at the age of 90 and was buried at the facility's cemetery under the name Mary K. Cummings. Please like and share if you find the video content interesting and useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below so as not to miss the upcoming interesting videos. Thanks for watching.